Who is currently the most honest politician in the American government? Trevor Ariza fan said, "Gonna get buried," but North Carolina Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey. In the US, insurance companies can invest a certain percentage of the money you pay them in stocks or other assets. They can then sell or transfer a certain percentage of those assets to other companies. When Causey was elected, he lowered the percentage of assets which insurance companies could loan to other companies or invest. This was a huge hit to billionaire Republican donor Greg Lindbergh, who made his fortune from buying and asset-stripping insurance companies, a somewhat unethical practice. Lindbergh was one of the largest donors in the state, and his relationship with former NC Insurance Commissioner Wayne Goodwin led to a special deal for Lindbergh where he alone was able to continue this practice with special rates. Lindbergh, and NC Republican Party Chair Robin Hayes, approached Causey with a deal if Causey would help Lindbergh by giving him exceptions on the regulations and removing an employee who treated Lindbergh unfairly, i.e., the way he should be treated. Lindbergh would bankroll Causey's re-election, a not insignificant deal, as Causey had previously lost the race for insurance commissioner 5 times. So what did Causey do? Contact the FBI and agree to wear a wire, taking down one of the largest political donors in the state and the chair of his own party. In 2020, he was re-elected to another 4-year term, only the second time he'd be elected to an office after nearly a dozen tries. This got a lot more attention than I thought it would, so I thought I'd add a few sources which better explain the events than I can. First, an explanation of Greg Lindbergh's business practices, originally sourced from a massive Wall Street Journal investigation which is unfortunately paywalled. Next, a more general article breaking down what happened. My original comment undersold how crazy Greg Lindbergh is. He used his insurance business to fund a Miami Vice lifestyle, and would pay private investigators to stalk women he was attracted to or had a casual relationship with. NCGOP Chair Robin Hayes was convicted on bribery and wire fraud charges, but was pardoned by Donald Trump. Greg Lindbergh is currently serving a 7-year prison sentence on bribery and wire fraud charges. Lindbergh later brought a suit against Causey, accusing him of entrapment. This suit was quickly dismissed with prejudice. Fickle Bat 8433 said, "John Smith, mayor of Nowhere, Nebraska. He does the job without pay but works like he does. Doesn't give a shit if he gets re-elected." Bake Durs Dosen said, "I'm not gonna say my mayor is the most honest ever, but I did like how she came into office, made it quite clear she had a job to do, clean up the mess the previous 2 to 3 mayors had done by kicking the can down the road, then said she'd leave after the job was done and really didn't want to go further in politics. So far, she's done some really unpopular things, aka spend money, but it's exactly what she promised she'd do because it needed to happen. But she also sat down and explained it to people and had town halls where you could ask her about things. And if you paid attention, she was basically fighting for every dollar we had to spend, trying to keep costs low. I dunno, maybe she's dishonest on some level and is really good at hiding it. And maybe she will stay in office longer than this next term or move on to the state level of politics, but if I thought every politician did as good of a job representing me, I'd feel a lot better about politics than I do right now." Heartless King 13 said, "Sounds like she may be actually trying to fix shit. Part of the problem with politics isn't just the politicians but the voters. To fix a lot of the problems this country is in right now is going to require sacrifices from every citizen and corporation. I really don't think a politician that lays out the full facts of what needs to be done to fix our job crisis, debt problems or border issues would ever get voted into office." Glimble Muggernaut said, "But as you can see, from how people reacted to her policies, people don't actually like honest politicians. They want solid infrastructure, good public services, a nice downtown area free of graffiti and homelessness, parks and green space, but they don't want to pay for any of it. They want the politicians who will promise to do all of the above and promise to lower taxes, even though that's an obviously ridiculous promise to make. Voters encourage dishonesty in their politicians by having unrealistic expectations and by continuing to vote for the people who are able to tell them what they want to hear. Then they turn around and get mad about how politicians are liars." CPTNAMR7 said, "A lot of the small towns in Nebraska it was more your turn to be mayor than an actual election. You pretty much just had the keys to the city building and that was about it. You did your year and then someone else did the next. It would eventually get back around to you if the town was small enough though. Grew up small town, nay, but not that small. Knew a lot of people from towns of. Drizzt Dude said, definitely Bernie. Dude is the only guy who tells it like it is, and actually engage on issues. You challenge him, he stands up, every single time. So many politicians skirt or deflect an issue when it is brought up. Bernie says, great questions, here is my plan for this issue, here is how it will work, if you don't agree with me defend your viewpoint or get out of the way. Emilor Apricot said, when Bernie ran for president the right tried so hard to dig up anything dishonest or crooked on him. They found nothing. The man is the least crooked, corrupt, most honest politician in Washington. Canyon's Edge 2076 said, Bernie Sanders. Regardless of whether you agree with him, he's been beating the same drum for 50 years, and he says the same thing to everybody. I've heard him answer interview questions honestly when the room was clearly slanted toward another answer. I've seen him participate in protests. The man walks the walk. It's damn hard to find a high-profile politician more respectable than him. Jack the Stripper said, I don't deal too heavily in politics, but in my short time as an adult Bernie is the only politician I've ever seen in a debate call out both parties for their wrongdoings. I remember watching the Democratic debates when he was running the first time. It was basically down to him and Hillary. Bernie would start talking and he would call out Democrats, Republicans, anybody that was doing wrong. It was admirable, but I knew immediately that he would never get the nomination because he wasn't on stage sucking off the Democrats. Cue Hillary giving her robotic pro-Democrat anti-Republican preloaded responses to everything. It was so clearly fake bullshit compared to what Bernie was saying, but it was equally as clear that she would be given the nomination. I know people are incredibly passionate about their politics, but it's stuff like this that makes it so I cannot take it seriously, no matter how hard I try. This country is full of fake people voting for fake representatives with fake solutions to sometimes fake problems. Bernie seemed like an island of reality in an otherwise made-up ocean of bullshit. Seanthemist said, the honesty that people talk about in politics has a lot less to do with, they made an explicit lie by saying one thing while doing another, and has more to do with their honesty to the role they assumed. By becoming a politician, you are made to swear an oath to do what you can for a better America, and it's your moral responsibility to make the world a better place for everyone. The dishonesty comes to play when, instead of making it better for everyone, they just make it better for a select group of people and leave the others to fend for themselves, whether that group is the ultra-rich, the ultra-poor, sexuality-based, race-based, etc. is irrelevant. The duty of someone in charge of others is to make the world better for the others. You wouldn't look at a parent who lets one kid starve and another kid prosper as a good, honest parent. Why do you do the same for politicians? In fact, in most cases it's worse if politicians do it because they chose to assume the responsibility. Not all parents do. Kyle 5112 said, Mark Volchik, a state assemblyman from New York's North Country. The guy is always on Facebook communicating with his constituents, tells them when he will be gone from the office for a week or longer, especially if doing National Guard training, works to hold the state government accountable, even if it means sacrificing his political future. A true American who cares about his fellow citizens.